What if the Grand Canyon, America's iconic wonder, holds a secret so massive it could flip history upside down? Picture this: a hidden underground city carved deep into the cliffs. Ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics etched on its walls, and towering skeletons of giants buried beneath the dust. Sounds like a blockbuster movie, right? But here's the twist: this isn't fiction. Over a century ago, an explorer stumbled upon this lost civilization in the Grand Canyon, only for the Smithsonian to swoop in and allegedly sweep it all under the rug. Could this be the most jaw-dropping cover-up in archaeological history? A forgotten chapter of ancient Egyptians in America, hidden from the world? We're about to dig into this Grand Canyon mystery and uncover the truth, or at least what's left of it. From whispers of giants' evidence to a Smithsonian conspiracy, this tale has it all. So, buckle up, mystery lovers. Let's dive into a story that mainstream history doesn't want you to know. Could this lost city rewrite everything we've been taught? Stick around as we explore the clues, the cover-up, and the questions still echoing through the canyon today. Oh, and if you're as hooked as we are, smash that like button and hit subscribe. We're just getting started on this wild ride into hidden history. Welcome to Unusual Files, where we uncover the mysteries history forgot or tried to hide. Today, we're diving into a story that sounds like it's straight out of a movie: an explorer named Kincaid, a lost civilization in the Grand Canyon, and a conspiracy that's lasted over a century. Stick around, because this one's wild, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a mystery. Imagine it's 1908, and you're Kincaid, an explorer with a thirst for adventure and an eye for the extraordinary. The Grand Canyon, that breathtaking marvel carved by the Colorado River, is your playground. But this isn't just a scenic trip. President Teddy Roosevelt has just slammed the door on mining and timber operations in the area, declaring it off limits. For Kincaid, this is a now or never moment, a final chance to uncover something incredible before the Grand Canyon mystery slips away forever. Armed with grit and a small wooden boat, he sets off, rowing 40 miles upriver, his gaze fixed on the towering cliffs that have stood silent for millions of years. Then, something catches his eye: odd, rusty stains streaking down a cliff face, 2,000 feet above the water. It's not gold, not copper, not anything he expected. Curiosity takes over. He ties off his boat, grabs his gear, and starts climbing. Because what's an adventurer without a little risk? Right? What he discovers up there isn't just a find, it's a bombshell that could rewrite history. After a grueling hike, Kincaid stumbles upon something unreal: a man-made cave entrance, chiseled into the canyon's sandstone heart. This isn't a natural hollow or a miner's abandoned shaft, it's deliberate, precise, almost otherworldly. He steps inside, flashlight in hand, and what he sees stops him cold: ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics etched across the walls. You heard me right, Egyptian writing. Right here in America, thousands of miles from the pyramids of Giza. This isn't some random scribble or Native American art, it's the real deal. Symbols that scream of a lost civilization far from the Nile. The Grand Canyon mystery just got a whole lot weirder. And Kincaid knows he's onto something massive. Could this be proof of ancient Egyptians in America? A secret so wild it defies everything we've been taught? But Kincaid doesn't stop there. He's too stubborn, too hooked. He ventures deeper, pistol at the ready, his flashlight cutting through the gloom. What he finds isn't just a cave, it's an underground city. Sprawling and sophisticated, a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers that stretch into the dark. We're talking 12-foot wide passageways narrowing as they go. Side rooms carved with eerie precision, some as big as 30 by 40 feet. He spots artifacts scattered everywhere: glazed pottery still holding seeds, copper tools gleaming with a craftsmanship that shouldn't exist here, signs of metalwork so advanced it baffles the mind. This isn't a hideout for a lone wanderer or a small tribe. No, this is a full-blown metropolis. A lost city in the Grand Canyon big enough to house 50,000 souls. Granaries, dining halls, workshops, it's all there. Perfectly preserved, whispering secrets of a forgotten people. Kincaid's scribbling notes, heart-pounding, as he realizes this isn't just a discovery, it's a revolution. Now, here's where your brain starts buzzing with questions, and trust me, Kincaid's did too. Who were these people? How did they get here? Why build an underground city in the middle of nowhere? Hidden beneath one of Earth's greatest wonders? The hieroglyphics hint at Egypt. Sure, but this is no pharaoh's tomb, it's something bigger. Stranger, was this a colony of ancient travelers who crossed oceans long before Columbus? A civilization that mastered bronze and agriculture while the rest of the world was still hunting and gathering? Or, dare we say it, something tied to the whispers of extraterrestrial visitors in ancient myths? Kincaid didn't have answers, but he knew one thing. This lost civilization in the Grand Canyon wasn't born here. It came from somewhere else, somewhere far away, and it brought secrets we're still chasing today. Could this be the key to unlocking hidden history? A clue to giants, gods, or a Smithsonian cover-up waiting to be exposed? Hang tight, because this rabbit hole's about to get deeper. Okay, mystery hunters, let's take a wild journey into this hidden gem, G.E. Kincaid's lost city in the Grand Canyon. Picture yourself stepping into the unknown, flashlight in hand, as the canyon's secrets unfold before you. Kincaid didn't just find a cave, he uncovered a sprawling underground masterpiece. The main passageway? A jaw-dropping 12 feet wide, narrowing as it twists deeper into the earth, like a portal to another world. Along the way, side rooms branch off, some massive, stretching 40 by 30 feet, big enough to make your living room jealous. These aren't rough caves hacked out by nature. Oh no, we're talking oval-shaped doorways, perfectly cut ventilation shafts, and walls chiseled so smooth you'd swear an ancient engineer had a hand in it. This is the Grand Canyon mystery at its finest, a lost civilization carved into the rock, waiting to spill its secrets. Now, let's talk treasure, because Kincaid hit the jackpot. Inside these chambers, he found granaries packed with seeds, perfectly preserved after who knows how many centuries. There were copper tools too. Not just any tools, but ones hardened by some ancient technique we've lost to time. Think medieval blacksmiths. But way cooler and way older. Then, he stumbles into a crypt. And trust me, this is where it gets spooky. Dozens of mummies lined the walls. All male, wrapped tight in bark fabric like they're guarding something big. No women, no kids, just warriors. Maybe? And here's the crown jewel. At the heart of this underground city sits a colossal chamber, dominated by a statue that stops Kincaid in his tracks. It's got the vibe of Buddha, cross-legged, serene, clutching lotus flowers in each hand. But is it Egyptian? Tibetan? Something else entirely? Even Kincaid couldn't crack that riddle. This wasn't just a hideout, it was a full-on lost city in the Grand Canyon, buzzing with clues of a forgotten past. But hold on to your hats, because here's where the Grand Canyon mystery takes a mind-bending turn. Kincaid didn't think this ancient civilization sprouted up locally, not a chance. He was convinced these people came from halfway across the globe, maybe Egypt with its towering pyramids, or Asia with its ancient temples, thousands of years before anyone dreamed it was possible. Imagine that. Ancient Egyptians in America, crossing oceans long before Columbus even thought of sailing. Or maybe a lost tribe from Tibet, hauling their culture into the American Southwest. This wasn't some random settlement, it was a game changer. A discovery that could flip history books upside down. We're talking about a society that knew bronze when the rest of the world was still chucking spears. A people who built an underground metropolis while others were scratching out a living above ground. Kincaid's flashlight wasn't just illuminating a cave, it was shining a spotlight on hidden history. A story so wild it challenges everything mainstream archaeology wants us to believe. So, who were these mystery builders? Why pick the Grand Canyon for their underground city? Kincaid's hunch points to a civilization that didn't just wander in, they arrived with purpose. With skills, with secrets we're still scrambling to decode. Were they fleeing something, a flood, a war, a cataclysm? Or were they planting a seed for something bigger? A legacy buried beneath the cliffs? The statue, the mummies, the tools, they all scream, advanced. But from where? Egypt's hieroglyphics match the carvings. Sure, but that Buddha-like figure throws a curveball. Could this be proof of ancient travelers linking continents? A Smithsonian cover-up waiting to unravel? One thing's clear. This lost civilization wasn't a fluke, it was a revelation. And Kincaid knew it. Stick with us, because this tale's about to get even stranger. And the clues are piling up faster than you can say, hidden history. What do you think? fact or fiction? Drop your guesses below. Alright, mystery buffs, buckle up, because things are about to get juicy. G.E. Kincaid was buzzing with excitement after uncovering his underground city in the Grand Canyon. He knew he'd stumbled onto something massive, a lost civilization that could rewrite history. So, what does he do? He packs up his detailed notes, a handful of artifacts, and ships them off to the Smithsonian, practically begging for backup. "Help me explore this Grand Canyon mystery," he pleads. And the Smithsonian? They don't mess around. They dispatch Professor S.A. Jordan and a crew of 40 scientists, researchers, laborers, to dive into this hidden history goldmine. With more hands and brighter lights, the team digs deeper. And oh boy, does it get wild. They uncover bronze swords glinting in the dark, chunks of a strange gray metal no one can identify, platinum. Maybe, in stone tablets etched with Egyptian hieroglyphics that scream ancient secrets. This isn't just a cave anymore, it's a fortress. A marvel they dub the Citadel. The lost city in the Grand Canyon is starting to look like the find of the century. But then, poof, everything goes quiet. The trail stops cold. Kincaid and Jordan? They vanish from the record like ghosts. The Smithsonian slams the door shut, claiming the whole thing's a sham. Those front-page stories in the 1909 Phoenix Gazette? Just 19th century clickbait. They say, fake news designed to sell papers. A Grand Canyon mystery this big, reduced to a hoax? Come on, that's hard to swallow. The deeper they dug, the crazier the finds: bronze weapons predating the Bronze Age, hieroglyphics hinting at ancient Egyptians in America, a citadel that defies logic. And yet, the Smithsonian wants us to believe it's all a tall tale? Something doesn't add up here. And the silence feels louder than the discovery itself. Was this the greatest archaeological breakthrough ever, only to be buried under a Smithsonian cover-up? You're about to see why the plot thickens. Now, here's where it gets downright shady, and trust me, this is the part that'll keep you up at night. The Smithsonian's got a reputation, and it's not exactly spotless. This isn't their first rodeo with disappearing evidence. Take Ohio, for instance, giant skeletons, some 7 or 8 feet tall, dug up from ancient mounds, shipped off to the Smithsonian, and then? Gone. Poof. No trace. Or Alabama, massive stone coffins, hollowed out with fire and metal chisels, sent to the experts in D.C., only to vanish into thin air. Lost in storage, they claim. Sure, okay, because who misplaces a 7-foot skeleton or a ton of rock coffins? Right? These aren't isolated flukes, they're a pattern. Every time a find threatens to shake up mainstream history, like proof of giants in America or a lost civilization in the Grand Canyon, the Smithsonian steps in. And the evidence mysteriously disappears. Coincidence? Or a full-on cover-up orchestrated to keep hidden history under wraps? You be the judge. So, what's the deal? Did Kincaid and Jordan uncover something so explosive, a citadel tied to ancient Egyptians in America, maybe even giants, that the Smithsonian had to bury it? Those bronze swords and gray metals suggest a technology way ahead of its time. And the hieroglyphics point to a culture that shouldn't have been here. Was the Citadel too big a threat to the tidy story of human history we've all been fed? The Phoenix Gazette splashed it across the front page in 1909. But the Smithsonian's denial turned it into a ghost story. Yet, the whispers persist, tales of suppressed finds, missing artifacts, and a government agency with skeletons in its closet. Maybe literally. Is this the smoking gun of a Smithsonian cover-up? Or just a wild yarn spun for headlines? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you think. Because one thing's for sure, this Grand Canyon mystery isn't done haunting us yet. Okay, mystery lovers, let's dive into one of the juiciest parts of this Grand Canyon mystery: giants. Yep, you heard that right. We're talking about beings that tower over us mere mortals. When G.E. Kincaid peeked into that crypt deep in his lost city in the Grand Canyon, he didn't just find mummies, he found tall mummies. We're not talking a little above average here. These guys were giants. Way bigger than the typical human of their time. Wrapped in bark like ancient sentinels. These male mummies hinted at something extraordinary. A race of towering figures that walked the earth long before us. And here's where it gets wild. Kincaid's discovery isn't a lone oddity. Native tribes, like the Hopi who've called this land home for millennia, have stories that back this up. Their legends whisper of strange beings, ant people with insect-like features, or even reptilian creatures, guiding them to underground caves during a world-shaking cataclysm. Aliens, maybe? Or something else entirely? Either way, these tales weave a thread of hidden history that's hard to ignore. But wait, it gets better. The Hopi aren't alone in this. Their stories also hint at giants roaming the land, massive figures striding across the plains. And here's the kicker: across the United States, reports of giant skeletons keep surfacing, bones of humans stretching 7 or 8 feet tall, dug up from ancient mounds and forgotten graves. We're talking giants in America, folks, popping up from Ohio to Nevada like echoes of a lost civilization. But every time these finds make waves, guess who shows up? The Smithsonian. And just like clockwork, those skeletons vanish, poof, gone, lost, in some dusty warehouse. Coincidence? Or a Smithsonian cover-up designed to bury the truth about giants' evidence? It's starting to feel like there's a pattern here, and the Grand Canyon mystery might be the key to unlocking it. Were these mummies Kincaid found the last remnants of a race of titans? Did they rule an underground city before disappearing into legend? You tell me, because the clues are stacking up fast. Now, let's zoom in on the Grand Canyon itself, because this place is dripping with hints. Ever heard of Isis Temple? How about Buddha Temple or Krishna Temple? These aren't just random names slapped on rock formations. They're landmarks scattered across the canyon. And they're raising eyebrows. Isis ties to ancient Egypt, Buddha to Asia, Krishna to Hindu lore, cultures separated by oceans and centuries. Yet here they are, etched into Grand Canyon's story. Pure chance? Or a breadcrumb trail pointing to an ancient connection we've overlooked? These names aren't tourist gimmicks, they've been around for ages, whispering of a lost civilization that might have linked continents long before history says it could. Pair that with Kincaid's mummies and those Egyptian hieroglyphics, and you've got a puzzle that screams hidden history. Could the giants of Hopi legend have walked these cliffs? Did ant people, or whatever they were, carve out a refuge here during some ancient disaster? The Grand Canyon's holding secrets, and these names might just be the map to finding them. So, what's the big picture? Kincaid's tall mummies, native tales of ant people and giants, and a canyon sprinkled with names from ancient cultures. It's like a cosmic jigsaw puzzle begging to be solved. Were these giants in America part of a lost civilization that spanned the globe? Did the Smithsonian sweep in to keep us in the dark, hiding evidence that could rewrite everything? The Hopi say a cataclysm forced their ancestors underground. Could that tie to Kincaid's crypt? And those temple names, random quirks or a nod to ancient Egyptians in America? Maybe even beyond? This isn't just a tall tale, it's a Grand Canyon mystery that keeps growing. And the Smithsonian's silence only fuels the fire. What do you think? Fact? Fiction? Or something in between? Drop your theories below, because this hidden history rabbit hole is deep, and we're nowhere near the bottom yet. Let's jump to the present day. Mystery seekers. Because the Grand Canyon mystery isn't just some dusty old tale, it's alive and kicking. Enter Jerry Wills and a new breed of treasure hunters, all obsessed with tracking down G.E. Kincaid's lost city in the Grand Canyon. These modern adventurers aren't messing around, they've scoured the canyon's cliffs, chasing whispers of that hidden underground city Kincaid uncovered over a century ago. And they're finding stuff. Artifacts scattered like breadcrumbs, bits of pottery, odd tools, hinting they're hot on the trail. Some even swear they've pinpointed the entrance, a jagged gash in the rock that matches Kincaid's notes. But here's the catch: they can't get in. The whole area's locked down tight, stamped off limits by the US government. Why? Well, the official line is safety concerns, or, get this, protecting the bats. Yep, bats. Sounds noble, right? But when explorers start talking about black helicopters and unmarked planes buzzing them out of the sky, you've got to wonder, is this really about winged critters? Or is it a Smithsonian cover-up still in play? Things get weirder the closer these folks get. Jerry Wills and his crew have stories that'll make your hair stand on end. They'll be hiking, mapping, feeling like they're this close to cracking the Grand Canyon mystery wide open, when suddenly, wham, a sleek black chopper swoops in, low and menacing. No logos, no warnings, just a clear message: get out. Other teams report unmarked planes cutting through a supposed no-fly zone because, oh yeah, this part of the canyon? You're not supposed to fly over it. Yet, the moment treasure hunters creep near Kincaid's cave, the skies light up with activity. One group even stumbled on something odd: cement blocks. Big and heavy, sitting in the middle of nowhere. Repairs to stop rockfalls, the government says. But really? In a remote stretch of wilderness? Or is this hard evidence of a cover-up? Sealing off a lost civilization to keep it buried? Something smells fishy here, and it's not the Colorado River. Now, let's unpack this modern-day saga. Because the stakes are high. These explorers aren't just thrill-seekers, they're chasing hidden history. A lost city in the Grand Canyon that could prove ancient Egyptians in America or giants once roamed these cliffs. Jerry Wills has spent years piecing it together, following Kincaid's breadcrumbs through a maze of red tape and rotor blades. The artifacts they've found, shards of ancient life, scream that something's down there. But every time they get close, the government doubles down. Caves sealed shut, safety signs posted, and those pesky bats trotted out as an excuse. Meanwhile, black helicopters patrol like guardians of a secret too big to let loose. Is this about protecting nature? Or keeping us from the truth? Those cement blocks, random construction, or a deliberate wall hiding Kincaid's cave? The no-fly zone's a dead giveaway. Choppers shouldn't be there. Yet they are, shadowing anyone who dares to dig into this Grand Canyon mystery. It's like the canyon itself is whispering, "Look closer," while someone's shouting, "Stay away." So, here's the million-dollar question. Is Kincaid's lost city still out there? Tucked beneath those ancient cliffs, waiting for someone bold enough to find it? Or are we chasing a ghost story, a tall tale spun from imagination and wishful thinking? The evidence is tantalizing: artifacts, explorer testimonies, those eerie helicopter encounters. But the lockdown's real too: restricted zones, sealed caves, and a government that's quick to dismiss it all. Could this be the last stronghold of a lost civilization, guarded by a Smithsonian cover-up that's stretched into the 21st century? Or just a legend that's grown legs? I'm leaning towards something fishy, because why else would black choppers care about a few bat caves? What do you think? Is Kincaid City real? Or a mirage? Hit the comments with your take, because this hidden history hunt is far from over, and the Grand Canyon's still got secrets to spill. So, there you have it, folks. The wild tale of the Grand Canyon's lost city. A hidden gem that's got us all scratching our heads. Is it the real deal, an ancient civilization tucked beneath those majestic cliffs? Or just a clever hoax cooked up to stir the pot? Maybe it's something in between. A half-buried truth waiting to break free. The Smithsonian's waving it off as nonsense, calling it a tall tale from a bygone era. But the evidence keeps stacking up like a deck of cards you can't ignore. Kincaid's cave, those Egyptian hieroglyphics, whispers of giants in America. It's a Grand Canyon mystery that refuses to fade. So, what's your take? Do you buy that G.E. Kincaid stumbled onto a lost civilization in the Grand Canyon? Or is this hidden history just smoke and mirrors? I'm dying to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below and let's get this debate rolling. If this journey into the unknown got your pulse racing, give that like button a big ol' smack. It helps us keep digging into these mysteries. Love uncovering hidden history like this Smithsonian cover-up saga? Hit subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a dive into the weird and wonderful. Oh, and share this with a buddy who's hooked on a good mystery. They'll thank you later. Got a strange story you want us to tackle next? Swing by yourwebsite.com/tips closing square bracket and spill the beans. Until we meet again, keep your eyes peeled and your curiosity cranked to 11. This Grand Canyon mystery might just be the tip of the iceberg.